Topping the lineup this Thursday, concert and game tickets, they get hit with a lot of unexpected fees. The push to give us more transparency. And with scammers now using computers to recreate your voice, we're going inside one of the classes that's learning how to prevent this nationwide. The struggle to deal with higher education costs goes beyond tuition. But why new ways to pay for e-books and online college materials may not be the best deal.
Thank you, Annie. I'm Amanda Starrentino for the Now Indy. Tonight, as RTV6 works to keep you informed on the coronavirus outbreak, we are seeing effects on the stock market. The Dow plunged again today, nearly 1,200 points. U.S. stocks lost $1.7 trillion in market value over the last 2 days over coronavirus concerns. If you're feeling a little anxious over your retirement savings, you are not alone. Today, RTV6 went out and found a local finance and investment expert to put it into our terms so you can ease your worries. Bob Phillips with Spectrum Management Group here in Indianapolis has this advice for you. Remain calm and stay the course. He says global health issues have affected the market several times in the last century or so, but it always bounced back.
We were at a high not very long ago, 2 weeks ago, and now we're down from that high 10% or so. Going back to those previous events, the market again was positive 6 months later. So the last thing people should do right now is probably any moves, just kind of ride it out.
That expert says the way the market behaved this week does not even compare to the financial crisis in 2008. He says we are not really looking into the face of a recession, so things should balance out soon if everything goes as expected. Kyle.
Well, we know one thing. It has been cold here across central Indiana, and that has kept a lot of that snow still on the ground. As we look from the IMS pagoda out there, we had a little bit of sunshine, but now we got more clouds, and actually a couple of snow showers and flurries are flying out there for us. You can see one little band here near and north of Interstate 70 around the Fishers area, and also as we work our way into Greenfield, Newcastle, just limiting visibility, maybe some very minor accumulation, not really going to add up to much, but you can see those breezy conditions around 15 miles per hour, and so that, of course, is driving down the temperature. What it feels like even more, drops it by 10 degrees in Indy. Our actual temperature 34, feels like 24 though, feels like 20 in Muncie, feels like you're in the teens in Peru. So those temperatures will continue to slide back here with a few of those snow showers around and wind chills generally in the 20s. We've got some more snow showers to talk about here, a couple more cold nights, but things are going to warm up here as we get ready for a new month of March.
Infectious disease experts we talked to watching the coronavirus say the biggest concern right now is it becoming a potential pandemic. Basically, that it keeps spreading.
Means that essentially we have a new virus that that most individuals have not seen before and could be susceptible to.
Here are some of the most important things we know in numbers that put things into perspective. Doctors say the coronavirus risk is still low in the U.S., but that situation is constantly changing. 80% of people infected in early data have mild symptoms or symptoms they may not even recognize. 20% of cases are more severe. Deaths are happening primarily in those 50 and older and those with other medical conditions. As far as the rate of spread is considered,
essentially, if there's one infected person, he or she can transmit to 2 to 3 other individuals.
For context, measles is far more contagious and can affect 90% of people who come in contact and are not vaccinated. The most severe cases and deaths related to the coronavirus are essentially due to fluid and inflammation in the lungs, causing respiratory failure and eventually other organs to fail. The mild symptoms really only need the usual cold and flu treatments. Fluids, rest, and staying at home is essential. Some travelers are forced to change their plans due to the coronavirus outbreak. And now JetBlue says it'll suspend change and cancellation fees for new flight bookings. The change is in effect until March 11th. It affects flights completed by June 1st. All right, let's start the news feed. Lori Loughlin and her husband will go on trial in October. They face charges related to allegations they bribed their daughter's way into the University of Southern California. Investigators say they created fake athletic profiles for their daughters. A court in the UK putting a halt to expansions at London's Heathrow Airport. The court says the government did not consider climate change concerns when designing a third runway. Officials with Heathrow say a fix is possible. The CDC issuing a warning about clover sprouts. It's investigating an E. coli outbreak across multiple states tied to the sprouts. The people who got sick reported eating them at Jimmy John's restaurants. Jimmy John's says it removed them as of Monday. Well, more in our lineup. We've all experienced it. There are a lot of hidden fees when you buy event tickets online. The changes that could be coming to give us more transparency.
Buick GMC in Fishers.
Welcome back. This month, we have been sharing stories of survival as part of the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign to bring awareness to heart disease in women. For Jennifer Pace, it started as just a flutter in her chest, maybe just a few seconds at first. But when that symptom started lasting longer and longer, she knew something was not right. And as RTV6's Alyssa Donovan reports, thanks to Jennifer's persistence, she's living a healthier, happier life.
For a woman between the ages of 35 and 45, the average resting heart rate is about 60 to 100 beats per minute. So when Jennifer Pace's heart rate jumped to 210 beats per minute, she knew something wasn't right.
Jennifer Pace's home is kind of like a scrapbook.
My grandmother made the little purple doll.
Mementos from friends and family.
Mom's dish set.
Special keepsakes and photographs like this one of her and her husband.
We were senior prom dates and then went our separate ways for about 17 years.
10 years ago, the two reunited and were married.
So there we are.
Their family's journey displayed in statues on their windowsill.
And every stage of life we get another one.
Reminders of where they've been and what they've overcome.
And then there's my heart for being a survivor.
Pace was diagnosed with atrial fibrillation, or AFib, in 2012. Her grandfather also had the irregular heart condition, which can lead to blood clots, stroke, or even heart failure. Her symptoms started when she was very young.
Like the flapping of a wing, you know, like your heart flopping around in your chest.
As she got older, the episodes lasted longer, leaving her exhausted, unable to keep up with her kids, and eventually landing her in the ER. Pace underwent an AFib ablation, a procedure used to slow down the symptoms. The 44-year-old now rarely has episodes, the whole family supporting her health, adapting to more activity and a healthier lifestyle. While their home is already filled with memories, Pace knows that with her newfound knowledge of her diagnosis and a family focus on health, they'll be adding many more stages of life to their windowsill.
We're hoping to get to this stage in the future.
One of Pace's daughters has also started experiencing those flutter-like symptoms in her chest. She's being monitored, and it's all the more reason the entire family is living a heart-healthy lifestyle. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
The price of an event ticket online may seem reasonable. Then you go to pay and get slapped with fees. Congress is considering new regulations that would require those fees to be included in the ticket price. Companies like Ticketmaster say they're on board, but only if they all have to do it.
I don't think it happens very often that you see industry players saying under oath in front of Congress, please regulate us.
John Breo is with the National Consumers League. He was inside a House committee hearing on the ticketing industry. The NCL is pushing what's called the BOSS Act. It would address those extra fees, make all tickets transferable, and require the full number of tickets available to be disclosed to consumers, not just bulk purchasers. Ticketmaster has pushed back on that last piece of the bill. Breo thinks Ticketmaster is concerned that its clients, the artists, would be embarrassed about all the side deals with brokers.
Artists want to create the impression with their fans that they are providing affordable tickets and that it's a show that's for everybody. When in fact, artists are business people just like anybody else. They want to make as much money on their shows as possible.
During the hearing, Breo says he also noticed a lack of enforcement for the BOTS Act. It's illegal to use automated bots to buy tickets before real people even get a chance. But Ticketmaster testified that it stopped billions of bot attempts. Well, Best Buy has a lease-to-own program that caters to shoppers who have been rejected for a store credit card. But employees are voicing concerns to the Washington Post about how much shoppers end up paying for big-ticket items. They say some pay up to twice as much. This is how they break down those extra costs. Customers pay a $79 fee just so the program can have access to their checking accounts for payments. A payment goes through every time the customer gets paid for a duration of at least 12 months. In some cases, by the end of the year, the customer would have paid more than twice as much as the original cost. Best Buy says its program provides a valuable service. All right, next in our lineup, with scammers now using computers to recreate your voice, we're going inside one of the classes that's learning how to prevent this nationwide.
Only on RTV6 News.
Checking the Now news feed, items from Kobe Bryant's career will hit the auction block. They include a signed uniform, shoes, and even his handprints from outside the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. The auction will be held April 30th. Etsy is under fire from sellers on its site. The company says it will now automatically advertise products and as a result will take about a 12% cut. The only people who can opt out are those who make less than $10 grand a year. And a historic move in Major League Baseball. The league named its first African-American crew chief. Kerwin Danley has been a professional umpire since 1998. Well, new data just released from the CDC shows the obesity rate among U.S. adults is still climbing, now 42%. That's 4 in 10 Americans. It's gone up about 40% over the last 2 decades. While the data isn't encouraging, a leading obesity expert doesn't see it as all doom and gloom.
Advancement in obesity medicine is going way faster than it ever went with cholesterol, diabetes, and hypertension.
Dr. Harold Bays with the Obesity Medicine Association has done decades of clinical research on treatments. He says the common theme in getting medications mainstream was when they were shown to reduce the risk of heart disease. He believes obesity medication is on the same track.
And I think there is every reason to believe that the ones that we're studying are going to have favorable effects upon cardiovascular disease. And when that happens, the world changes.
There are also more resources and science-based evidence for physicians to better treat overweight and obese patients, medically proven nutrition and physical recommendations, improved data on bariatric surgery benefits, and more pending drug therapy. They're constantly looking at the complex disease of obesity and how other medical conditions and medications play a role.
Many of the medications that we use to treat depression or psychosis or whatever increase body fat.
Dr. Bays works on the obesity algorithm. Its treatment guidelines are updated every year and put out by the Obesity Medicine Association. All right, more pedestrians are dying on U.S. roads. This is according to data from the Governor's Highway Safety Association. Pedestrian deaths have gone up more than 50% in just the past 10 years. It's the highest number in more than 30 years. Meanwhile, the number of deaths of people riding in cars has pretty much remained the same.
Take it, read it, give it away again. That is the idea behind this unique initiative celebrating Women's History Month. This March, an Indianapolis law firm is placing dozens of books by best-selling female authors throughout the city for women to take, read, and give. Partners at Indiana Divorce Lawyers are teaming with 20 other local women-owned businesses to put out the books leading up to International Women's Day on March 8th. We talked to the women who came up with the plan about their inspiration and their hopes for what's to come. You can find our full Inside Indy story right now on the RTV6 app. Kyle.
All right, we got the clouds and some of us a few snow showers as we look west over downtown Indianapolis, but visibility in the city just fine here on this Thursday evening. Temperatures, yeah, they're running chilly, but we are at our high for the day so far. We've made it up to 34 now in Indianapolis, even with that west breeze. Kokomo, a little bit colder for you at 30 and 36 in Bloomington. So those temperatures didn't get a whole lot above the freezing mark. So that 1.2 inches of snow we picked up in the city yesterday, a lot of that is still on the ground. Wind chills, though, that wind is driving down the feels like number into the middle 20s in Indianapolis. Columbus feels like 20 for you in Muncie. Here's a few of those wind-swept snow showers and flurries that are out there, again, reducing visibility. But I do think that these will quickly wind down here as we get to sunset and beyond. It's just that dry air that's wringing out some of those additional snow showers. And it's going to be cold again tonight. We're down into the teens with mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, we'll see more cloud cover around. Temperatures, as a result, really are not going to move a whole lot here. As we go into the afternoon, may see a few more of these snow showers, but again, not talking about accumulations, just a reduction in some of the visibility. That could, though, come for the evening drive for some of us, especially south of I-70. Next few days of the forecast, things are greatly going to improve once we get through Saturday. Highs are in the 50s. Rain returns Monday. Annie?
Turning to the Now News feed, a new poll says Americans are concerned about the 2020 election, specifically when it comes to security. The poll found only a third of Americans reported having high confidence when it comes to believing that there will be an accurate vote tally. New concerns about people posing as presidential candidates. Yesterday, we told you about a warning about political robocall scams. Well, now the DNC says someone posed as a representative for Bernie Sanders' campaign and tried to have dialogues with other campaigns. The DNC is urging candidates to be cautious. A new issue is being tied to vaping. A study from NYU's College of Dentistry says using e-cigarettes can change the bacteria makeup of your mouth, and the changes can lead to a greater risk of infection. Well, we've told you how scammers are getting more high-tech, turning to voice cloning to try to get your personal info, even your money. And now students at college campuses are learning about the latest technology to better understand how to prevent it. Move over facial recognition and make way for voice cloning technology.
I will be able to make you speak anything I want.
Voice cloning is the next way some are hoping to deceive you.
Fraud has and will continue to be committed this way.
Voice cloning captures the essence of your voice.
Capture intonation, tones rising and falling. And even if you go deeper or higher or any of those sorts of things, your voice is still your voice.
Hackers clone voices of people you know and then use that fake voice to call you and scam you into giving up personal information and even money. The latest AI technology is now being studied at colleges across the country.
I record some of your voice. It could be picked up from anywhere online if you have anything recorded, or just from conversation or phone call, and then you clone your voice.
Student Alexander Lubomirov says downloading voice cloning software takes some online work, but it's not tough for a tech-savvy person to do. But we're not going to show you the exact steps.
Everything is open. Everything is online.
Alexander took a clip of me speaking off my YouTube channel.
If you're new here, my name's Annie.
And placed it in the voice cloning program. And a few seconds later,
I am not a fake voice. Generated a couple minutes ago. Please believe me.
I kind of sound like a Valley girl.
Now, I might not think it sounds like me.
It's not meant to trick you.
Yeah. It's just supposed to be close enough where it could trick someone from your extended family. Voice cloning is not all bad. Metro State University of Denver computer science professor Steve Beatty says voice cloning is another form of authentication, or it's a way to send a voice text. It can even help give a voice to those who have lost the ability to speak. With every new technology to hit the market, we have to weigh the security hazards and the convenience it provides. Well, when it comes to making sure you or your family doesn't fall victim, remember, if something sounds fishy, it probably is. And if someone is asking for personal information or even money, ask questions that you and your family only know the answers to. Well, one of the stars on Shark Tank has lost nearly $400,000, and it's not due to a bad investment deal. Nope, Barbara Corcoran tells People magazine it happened due to an email with a fake invoice. So it appeared as if her assistant sent it to her bookkeeper, who then approved it. Corcoran said it appeared to be a payment for a real estate renovation, and she had no reason to think it was suspicious. The money was wired, so she likely won't recover it. It turns out the email address looked a lot like her assistant's, but it was misspelled. All right, finally in our lineup, the struggle to deal with higher education costs goes beyond tuition. Ahead, why new ways to pay for ebooks and online college materials may not be the best deal.